Welcome to Las Vegas, folks. This is Coast to Coast Racing with their final race before we go into the playoffs. They cut practice short a little bit, and that's why we're all of a sudden jumping in here to try and catch the last little bit of qualifying. So I apologize for the way we are coming in here, but well, we wanted to make sure that you saw the most of qualifying that we can get. We are currently looking at Hank Caston that finished his qualifying attempt, and he is the quickest driver out there so far. Then it looks like Nick Hammer in the number 11 car is picking up the second position here just as we speak. It's Ken MacArthur in third, it's Gigi Swiss in fourth, Steve Anderson is in fifth, and Brian Edmonds, here we see him in the number 28 car. He is closing up his attempt, and he is currently shown in seventh position. And it looks like Tanner Nowell has jumped into the second position. No, he's being pushed back to third by Nigel Christensen. And that means that Brian Edmonds is dropping down to eighth position. We should also see some attempts from Sean Ritalik, Carl Eck, Michael Edwards, and Robbie Helms. I haven't seen them on the track just yet. I haven't seen Carl Eck on the track in practice either, but I have seen Ritalik, Edwards, and Helms. So they still have a little under 2 minutes to get this show on the road for themselves. And let me see here. We can show you the point standings as they are currently going into this race. It's Hank Caston that is in the first position with 204 points. Ken MacArthur in second with 195. Hayes is in third with 193. Then it's Woods, Ritalik, Edwards, Nowell, Powers, Woodward, and Brian Rose in 10th position with 113 points. Unfortunately, Brian Rose is not here tonight, but we do have quite a few. I believe we have 12 drivers that are getting ready to get started on this race here. So we have a minute left in qualifying. Michael Edwards has finally come out in the number 21 car. Let's see if he can post a good time here. Last week we were at Sonoma, and next week I'm on the 19th. I'm sorry, that is 2 weeks from now. So we're going to have a week break. 2 weeks from today, we're going to be starting the playoffs in Chicagoland. And tonight, basically, we are going to determine who all is going into those playoffs. Unfortunately, I'm not really sure if winners are locked in already, but looks like it looks like qualifying is over here. Let's get ready for the race. We are going to be running 133 laps here tonight at Las Vegas. Hank Caston is on the pole position. He's not on the track yet. Yes, he is. There he is. Nigel Christensen is alongside him on the outside. Then it's Tanner Nowell and Nick Hammer on the second row. Third row is going to be for Ken MacArthur and DG Swiss. Then it's going to be Michael Edwards and Steve Anderson on the fourth row. It's going to be Brian Edmonds and Sean Ritalik on the fifth row, and the sixth row will be for Robbie Helms and Carl Eck. And as said, I have not seen Carl Eck on the grid or on the track, so it's going to have to wait and see here if he is going to join us here tonight or not. There we have Brian Edmonds right alongside the number 10 car of Ritalik. And I haven't seen Robbie Helms and Carl Eck just yet. That would be unfortunate because that would mean we only have 10 drivers starting this race. We'll keep an eye on that back end here to see if they show up. They could opt to start from the pits, obviously, but I haven't seen them at all. So hopefully they'll make it. and fill out this field of 12 entries. And once again, we have Hank Caston once again on pole position, one of the quicker drivers in the series here tonight. And most every night, I would say, Nigel Christensen on second in the number 16. The number 14 of Tanner Nowell, the only car here of the Tarmac Terror team. Nick Hammer in the 4th position. Ken MacArthur in the 97 car alongside DG Swiss. And then Edwards, Anderson. Oh, there we have Robbie Helms in the number 18 car. It looks like he is going to get ready to start this race. And that would leave us Carl Eck. It looks like we're getting rolling. And if Carl Eck is going to start, he's going to have to do so from the pit lane. Alright, so let's quickly bring in some information here. Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Las Vegas, Nevada. It is a 1.5 mile oval. It is 90 degrees here tonight. There is no humidity, the clear skies, no wind to speak of. Track temperatures are low, 90 degrees. That is the same as the ambient temperature, so the drivers do not have to worry too much about the grip being an issue here tonight. Cool tracks usually make for less slip sliding around, so looks like we're in for a good night of racing here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're going to be doing 133 laps here tonight, so it's going to be a fairly long race. And with a small field like this, we might not see very many yellows, but we'll have to wait and see how all this pans out. The pace car is going to be coming in. There you have it. The guys are waiting for the radio call, and there she is. We have a green flag, and it's Hank Caston that is pulling away already from the field. It's Tanner Nowell following him suit on that low line, and he's coming into second position here. The 97 of Ken MacArthur in third already, and it looks like Nigel Christensen was not really paying attention on that start there. He's dropped back to the 5th position from the front row, also already being passed by Michael Edwards in the 21 car. Then behind Nigel's, it is DG Swiss in the 26, Nick Hammer and Steve Anderson, Sean Retallick, and it looks like we do not have Carl Eck here on the track. He might be picking up the role of the race admin here, and it looks like we're having a good fight for the lead here. It looks like Ken MacArthur picked up the lead. Tanner Nowell in second. What happened to Hank Caston? He must have had some sort of an issue. Let's see if we can find that. Here he's still in the lead. Then there's 2 guys coming underneath him, and he's just caught out on that high line where there's just barely any grip, and that means that a bunch of them just go underneath him and send him back to what is now 8th position. That is quite amazing. Ken MacArthur picking up that lead in front of Michael Edwards. He's running the fastest lap at the moment. And then in third place, we have the number 14 car of Tanner Nowell. Michael Edwards now putting that fastest lap to good use to pick up the lead from the 97 car. DG Swiss picking up third place from Tanner Nowell. And it's Nick Hammer in 5th, Nigel Christensen in 6th, Steve Anderson in 7th, and it looks like Hank is somehow in trouble. He's dropped back down to the end of the field here. He's currently running in the 9th position. I wonder what's going on with him. It's Michael Edwards in the lead, with Ken MacArthur in second, and DG Swiss and Tanner Nowell now fighting side by side for that third spot, with the 11 of Nick Hammer right behind the 26, trying to get that draft. And now we see Sean Retallick in the back of the field picking up that fastest lap here. So it looks like the field is fairly close together here tonight. Ooh, a little bit of a touch there between Ken MacArthur and DG Swiss. Nothing serious coming off of that. It looks like Edwards is walking away from him a little bit. Swiss and MacArthur there side by side for second place. The 14 of Tanner Tanner Nowell in 4th position, and it's Nick Hammer hanging on with these guys. Ooh, the 97 running up quite high and losing to the number 14 of Tanner Nowell there. And it looks like Hammer is also coming close to him. It doesn't look like, to me, like that high side's really working all that well, especially when you're up that high. If they want to use their high side, they should try to stay to the middle of the track there. As you can see, the number 11 of Nick Hammer was going on that apron, and that can be a little bit tricky. The transition from the apron to the banking can upset your car and get you in trouble. Although on the main straightaway, the banking here in Las Vegas is not that high, so it shouldn't be too big of a problem there. You just have to still be careful, though. It's DG Swiss that has moved up to 2nd position behind Michael Edwards. There is about 0.6 of a second between those guys. It's Tanner Nowell now in 3rd position, and Nick Hammer in 4th. It's Brian Edmonds in the 28 car that has worked his way up to the 5th position. He started in 9th. So Ken MacArthur and Steve Anderson have lost a little bit there. Hank Caston hanging on there and now in 8th. Sean Retallick in 9th. Robbie Helms taking away 10th position from Nigel Christensen. Nigel started in 2nd position on the front row, and he is currently running in the 11th spot. Let's go back and check on Michael Edwards here, your leader of the race. Oh, and there in the back end we have the 28. The 28 and what looks like the 99 are getting together here on lap number 9. Let's bring that back for you really quickly. 28 in front of the 99 there. Brian Edmonds and Steve Anderson, and it looks like the 28 just comes down unexpectedly. Maybe had a little wheel spin coming off that turn. Let's see if we can catch that. Nope, he scrapes the wall. That's what it was. He scrapes the wall. He scrapes the wall and then comes back down unexpectedly to collect the 99 there. We are not yellow because the drivers were not on the racing line when they came to a stop. And it looks like Steve Anderson has continued, as has Brian Edmonds. They have not pitted. And a yellow has been invoked here by race control, I would think. And that means that everybody's going to have a chance to come back in and get some tires and some fuel. Lap 9 of 133. And the only one we see staying out here so far is Sean Retallick. That tells me that Sean's interested in track position more than new tires after 10 laps. And let's go see on pit road here. There you have them all on pit road. Hank Caston there in the first box. Christensen in the second box. It looks like DG Swiss is the first one off pit road, and Tanner is following him out. And that means that Sean Retallick is your leader here. DG Swiss coming out in 2nd position now. Tanner Nowell. Robbie Helms works his way up to 4th position, no less. Now, he could have opted to just take 2 tires. I didn't notice that, but it could have been. That would explain his major jump on the order here. Michael Edwards in 5th. Nick Hammer now in 6th. Hank Caston climbs up to 7th. Steve Anderson is in 8th, Brian Edmonds in 9th, and Nigel Christensen is still in 10th place. And Ken MacArthur coming out here in the 97 car. He's in the 11th place. And this is one thing that I just do not understand. Sean Retallick stays out there the first lap they come around and then goes into the pits by himself a lap later, and that basically just drops him down to the 11th spot. And I just don't see why you would do that. And then he misses his pit lane. He has to back it up. That's kind of costly as well. But it's not going to matter much because when he goes back out, he'll be in 11th position. scoring was a little bit overboard there because Ken MacArthur had the wave around probably, and it's still DG Swiss. It is now DG Swiss in the lead because Retallick went to the pits on the second option he had, on the second lap that he had. So Tanner Nowell now in second. Robbie Helms worked his way up to the third position with that pit stop. I'm fairly sure he only took outside tires there. And Michael Edwards fourth, Nick Hammer fifth, and Hank Aston therefore now in sixth position in front of Steve Anderson, Brian Edmonds. They're both running, and it looks like they took a faster pair. The guys have two faster pairs here tonight because it's a fairly long race. They have given them two faster pairs, so that helps out obviously. Ken MacArthur, Nigel Christensen, in ninth position. Then it's Ken MacArthur and Sean Retallick in the 11th position. Okay, the fact that we see the scoring scroll here tells me that the yellow laps are not counted. And that is extremely unusual for a NASCAR style event. All right, the lights on the pace car are out now. The drivers are going to line them up side by side. As you can tell on the top left of your screen, the yellow laps are not counted here tonight, which is very unusual for this league and for this style of racing with the cup cars on big tracks like this. But it is what it is, and we'll make do with it. And Nowell and Swiss now on the front row, cars lined up. We're getting ready to go. And there we go. It's DG Swiss early on the gas, and it looks like he pulls away from the whole gang here. It is Robbie Helms picking up second position from Tanner Nowell. And Robbie is staying on that high side. Oh, he's coming down now. It looks like Tanner Nowell slots in third place there with Nick Hammer in fourth, with Michael Edwards in fifth, and Hank Caston in sixth position. There we see Nick Hammer. Oh, and almost turns that 14 car around there. The 14 saves it. That's pretty good. Nick Hammer there, a little bit of a touch on Tanner Nowell, it looked like. And let's go check here on the leaders. It's DG Swiss in the lead with Robbie Helms closing in on him. That's your battle for the lead. There you see Michael Edwards in the green and yellow car in third position, Tanner Nowell in the 14 in fourth, Nick Hammer in 5th. Robbie Helms pursuing DG Swiss here for the lead. Let's ride along with Robbie Helms. And it doesn't look like he's really closing in at this point. Let's go check a little bit further back here. We have a group with Hank Caston, Sean Retallick, Nigel Christensen, and Brian Edmonds. And that is your 7th through 10th position here, with the number 10 of Retallick seemingly closing in on the number 5. Steve Anderson now running the fastest lap of the race in the number 99 car. And it looks like he's wanting a piece of this. Edwards has picked up 2nd position from Robbie Helms. Looks like Robbie may have had a little bit of an incident. The 14 going below that white line on the apron. They're allowed to do that. Nick Hammer now looking to be coming underneath Robbie Helms for that 4th position. And there we have Michael Edwards coming side by side to DG Swiss for the lead. And it looks like the number 21 car is getting ahead of the 26 here, and Michael Edwards picks up the lead. Tanner Nowell now also closing in on the leader. Swiss not giving up. He's still on that higher side there. Looks like he gets a good run off the corner here, coming down the backstretch, and he picks the lead back up once again. But it's still Michael Edwards on the inside. No, it's Swiss now slotting in front of him on the lower line there. Tanner Nowell doing a good job keeping up. And it looks like Nick Hammer is also catching up with these guys, so it looks like everything is coming back together once again. The 14 of Nowell just trying to get underneath that 21, couldn't quite get it done. And once again trying to come underneath, and he's not quite close enough. There he comes on the main straightaway here into the tri-oval. He takes that lower line underneath the white line, and he looks like he is getting in front. Oh, they're still side by side going into 1 and 2. Now it looks like Edwards picks up that lead. And it looks like the number 11 of Nick Hammer is closing in there on the lower line as well. He's trying to keep that nose right behind the 21. The 14 of Tanner Nowell on the higher side. Robbie Helms in 5th position in the 18 car, following pretty good. Side by side once again, the numbers 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 all side by side through the turns here. DG Swiss now picking the lead back up on the high side. Can Michael Edwards counter? Tanner Nowell now in 3rd position. Looks like the 11 has dropped back about 2 car lengths there. The 14 of Tanner Nowell in 3rd position on the higher side of the 21. Swiss in the lead. Hammer there right behind the 21, and then up high you see the 18 of Robbie Helms, and he has got the 99 of Anderson closing in as well. Hank Gaston still back here in the 7th position with Retallick right behind him. It looks like Brian Edmonds, Christensen, and MacArthur have dropped down the order a little bit. Lost connection with that group. Tanner Nowell picks up 2nd position in front of Edwards. Edwards and Hammer on the lower side there, nose to tail. The 18 of Robbie Helms in 5th position. Now it looks like the 11 of Hammer moves up and gets behind Tanner Nowell, trying to catch that draft to go around the 21. And it looks like he got a pretty good run off turn 4 there, and he noses that car ahead of the 21. When they reach the line, it's Hammer in 3rd, but it's still not all said and done here, because now he runs a little bit high, and the 21 takes advantage of that. looks like Hammer just noses it back into third position, coming off the corners high and with a little bit more momentum. Now he's going underneath Tanner Nowell for second position. And it looks like DG Swiss has got about 4/10 of a second on these guys now. Hammer and Nowell side by side with Helms now in fourth. And it looks like Michael Edwards dropped to fifth with Anderson in sixth. Hank Caston closing in on these guys at the tail end of that group here. There you have him, Hank Caston and Sean Retallick closing in on this group. And they want to be a part of this battle as well. There you have Tanner Nowell leading the second group here with Swiss out in front by about 3/10 of a second. And it looks like they're catching up on him again. Nick Hammer in third. Robbie Helms picks up fourth position in front of Edwards. Then it's Steve Anderson on that high side with Caston going low. Caston trying to get underneath the 99 here. And he's not quite there yet, but he's looking like he's recovering from his earlier fallback. And I will say tonight these guys are running close and they're running really well. Good group of cars here fighting for that race. And despite DG Swiss being out a second now, it looks like it's still anybody's race here tonight, with a big group here fighting for the second through the sixth position. Nick Hammer going underneath. He's got to be a little careful getting back in line there. You can always have somebody that decides not to let you in. And it looks like Tanner Nowell is on the high side there. It is still amazingly close here. Second position, third position. Ooh, it looks like Hammer had a little bit of a blink there, dropping out of sight. That is always a little tricky for the guys following him because it's very difficult to place your car if you don't know where your opponent is. It's Robbie Helms in fourth, and it looks like Caston is getting... Ooh, yeah, that smoke that you saw is also part of the connection problem for Nick Hammer. Hank Caston is picking up fifth position now. He's gotten underneath Edwards. You saw that there. And Retallick is trying to get behind him and do the same thing. So Hank Caston up in fifth now. And ooh, it looks like Brian Edmonds also has a bit of a connection issue there. And Swiss is still about 4/10 of a second out. Nick Hammer seems to be walking away from Tanner Nowell now, closing in on DG Swiss. Tanner Nowell in third, and he's got Robbie Helms on the high side. He's got Hank Caston behind him on the lower side, and then it's Michael Edwards in the green and yellow car there. And closing up that line here is Sean Retallick in the number 10. He is trying to stay behind the number 5 on the lower side to get by Edwards. Guys doing a very good job here. Lap 28 of 133. Ooh, and it looks like Caston has a huge run on the 14 there. What happened to the 14? Did he have a bit of an issue? Let's see if we can find that. Keep an eye on the number 14 car. Yes, he scrapes the wall, he bounces off, and he loses a little bit of speed, and that allows Caston to come underneath him. And Tanner Nowell dropping back to the fifth position now. Nick Hammer now in third, and Nick has caught up with Swiss. I'm sorry, Nick is in second. Sorry. And he has caught up with Swiss. That is for the lead. Nick now on the higher side. It's Hank Caston now in third, and he's pulling away from the gang as well. It looks like things are stretching out a little bit more now. Robbie Helms still hanging on to that fourth place. he would still be in the draft of Kasten if he keeps his line there right. Then it's Tanner Nowell a little bit further back. He lost about 1.3 seconds there. And it's Steve Anderson behind him in 6th. He is trying to get out of that draft to pass. Michael Edwards has dropped to 7th with Retallick right behind him in 8th. And it looks like they dropped back a little bit towards Edmonds. And MacArthur is a little bit further back here in 10th. And then in 11th is Nigel Christensen. DJ Swiss now coming under threat of Nick Hammer on the high side. You see the 11 car nosing side by side here, and at the line he is actually in the lead. Nick Hammer picks up the lead here, gets credit for leading a lap, but Swiss is not just giving up and letting it all just happen. He is still fighting back on that lower side, and it looks like Hammer's got better momentum coming off high on the turn there onto the backstretch, and he now puts a couple of car lengths between himself and Swiss. Kasten tugs in right behind the 26 there, ready to jump on him as well. The 18 of Robbie Helms is still hanging on there, and he's doing a pretty good job staying with these leaders here, using the draft whenever he can, staying on that lower side. It looks like he's definitely trying to be a part of this battle. And that is your fight for 2nd position here, folks. That's DG Swiss in its 26 car that still has it. It's Robbie Helms on the high side now, picking up 3rd position as they cross the line. Hank Kasten in 4th, but Hank has got the advantage of the draft there on the bottom. And Robbie Helms has got good momentum coming off the higher side there also. He is passing DG Swiss now, and he's actually in front. He's clear. So it's Robbie Helms picking up the 2nd position. Swiss has gone from the lead down to 3rd in a few laps here. Obviously having asked a little bit too much from his tires probably. And Robbie Helms having no such problems. And remember how he came up the order with the pit stops. That tells me that only his right sides are new, and they're not that new anymore either, obviously, because they all pitted on lap 9. But he's walking away from Swiss and Kasten right now, on his way to catch Nick Hammer. The distance to Nick Hammer is still a 1.3 seconds, almost 1.4. And Swiss and Kasten are now about 4/10 of a second behind Robbie Helms. Still duking it out here for 3rd position. Kasten has not been able to make that work just yet. Now he's trying the higher side. He saw how Helms made that work, so he's going to try that as well. And it looks like they can make that higher side work pretty good. It gives them a little bit more speed off the turns. Kasten picks up 3rd position from DG Swiss. Retallick has picked up 5th position. That means he's passed Edwards and Anderson. Tanner Nowell has dropped back to 7th, and he is now falling prey to the 21, it looks like. Well, he's getting there, but not quite. Hammer is still out in front by 1.6 seconds, so actually Robbie is not catching him. He is actually dropping back a little bit, and it looks like Hank Kasten is reeling him back in, and Swiss is hanging with Kasten to make sure he doesn't lose that connection and make sure he stays in that draft. There we see the 18 going high. Maybe those tires are now starting to fall off as well. It looks like Hank Kasten is on that lower side alongside him now. And it looks like Kasten is picking up 2nd position with Helms on the outside in 3rd now, and Swiss trying to do the same thing underneath him here on the main straightaway into turn 1 and 2. Yep, he makes it by there. It looks like Swiss picks up 3rd position and Helms goes back to 4th. And there in the distance you see Nick Hammer, 1.7 seconds now. He's still gaining on the guys behind him. So he is extending that lead little by little. Let's see if Hank Caston can reel him in. Keep an eye on Hank. And Swiss and Helms, they're still behind him there together. Looks like Swiss can't really keep up with Caston anymore either. Well, I'm fairly sure tires are a factor now. Ooh, we have the 99 of Anderson blinking in the distance there a little bit. He's still running. He's 6th. Tanner Nowell is still holding off Michael Edwards in 7th and 8th. Brian Edmonds trying to stay with him. It's MacArthur and Christensen that are a little bit further back. Nick Hammer now 1.4 in front of Caston, and that means that Caston is actually reeling him in little by little. His last lap was 0.2 of a second quicker than Hammer, so he is actually the quickest guy on the track right now. Swiss still in 3rd, Helms still in 4th, Retallick now in 5th, Anderson still in 6th, Edwards and Nowell still duking it out here. Looks like now Edwards has gotten the better of Tanner Nowell, picking up that 7th position, but Tanner is still fighting back. That battle has not been run just yet. And definitely Caston is gaining on Nick Hammer. Let's ride along with Hank. You can see Nick trying to go all the way below that white line to take the shortest distance, but it's not going to save him, I don't think. And looked for a moment there that Christensen had an issue, but I don't believe so. So let's check back in here on Caston. There he is in 2nd position. Still trying to reel in Nick Hammer, but it looks like that progress is stagnating a little bit. It's hanging on about 1.5 seconds. And Swiss, it looks like Swiss is really trying to catch back up to Caston again. Helms now dropping back a little bit, and he's fallen victim to Sean Retallick. So Helms could not keep up the pace there with Swiss. He is now fighting off Sean Retallick for 4th position. Michael Edwards and Tanner Nowell still going at it as well. Robbie Helms on the high side there in the 18 car, Retallick on the lower side. Still side by side into one. Looks like Retallick's got a little bit of a damage at rear end there. And it looks like they're still side by side. Helms has not given up. Now it's Retallick taking that 4th position on the inside, and it looks like he's got him. Caston is still trying to catch Hammer. He's nibbled off another 1/10 of a second, but it's not going all that fast. And I'm sure for all these guys, the tires are starting to play a role here. They're all running about 2 seconds slower than they were in the beginning of the stint. Their best laps are all right around 30, mid and low 30s, and now they're running mid and low 32s. Nigel Christensen is the first car that dives into the pits on lap 47. Are we all going to see green flag pit stops? It kind of looks like it. Second stall is for Nigel. Yep, tires on the outside and I'm sure on the inside, and it will be interesting to see where he comes back out. Hammer is now passing pit lane, so he's going to be putting a lap on him. Actually, he's already got 2 laps on Nigel Christensen. Nigel is back out now, but that tells us that green flag pit stops are going to lose you a lap instantly. So, and again, Caston nibbled off another 1/10 of a second of that deficit he had on Hammer. It's not, he's making progress, but it's just slow and steady. Easy does it. And then 0.6 of a second behind Caston, it is GG Swiss, Retallick has picked up, and it looks like Robbie Helms is coming into the pits. Tanner Nowell is into the pits, and Michael Edwards also into the pits. So these guys are following Nigel's example here. Green flag pit stops. They want new rubber and fuel. Ooh, looks like Robbie overshoots his pit there a little bit. Yeah, he's got to back it up. That's a costly mistake, especially under green. Tanner Nowell, Michael Edwards. A little bit of damage on the back end of that car. Doesn't look like he wants to get that fixed. It's not that big a deal. Robbie coming out. Sean Retallick on his way in. Edwards already out. Tanner out. Robbie Helms has lost positions to Edwards and Nowell with that pit stop mistake. Careful for the white line. Don't blend in until you see the blue cone. There you have it. On the backstretch is where they blend in. Then we have Steve. Ooh, Steve messes it up on the pit lane entry. That is also going to be a costly mistake. He's really hard on the brakes there. He's coming in way too hot, and he loses the back end going into the pits. There we have Ken MacArthur in the pits. And that means that Caston is now the leader of the race, and now Caston's coming into pits, followed by Nick Hammer and DG Swiss. And this is for the lead here. Brian Edmonds still staying out. He is currently shown as your leader. Caston going to busy traffic rush hour on pit road. Ooh, and it looks like more than one driver just misses their pit stall. It looks like Hammer missed it, Swiss missed it. Hammer had to back up just a little bit, but Swiss had to back up like 2 or 3 boxes. That's a costly mistake, guys. You gotta know where your pit stall is. You know where you qualified, that's where your pit stall is. Brian Edmonds coming in as Hank is coming out, so Brian Edmonds will still keep that lead until Hank makes his first time around. Sean Retallick is actually going to be picking up the lead with his earlier pit stop. He has gotten that number 10 car ahead of Hank Caston. So Sean Retallick is your new leader here on lap 53, going into 54. And he's got about 2.6 seconds on Michael Edwards. Michael Edwards already passing Hank Caston here for second position. Nick Hammer is about 2.7 seconds behind these guys. Then it's Robbie Helms, also about 1.2. Tanner Nowell. Field is obviously stretched out quite a bit now with these yellow pit stops. With these green flag pit stops. Obviously that stretches out everything quite a bit. Lap 54, Sean Retallick is your leader, 2.3 seconds ahead of Michael Edwards. Then it is Hank Caston. Got a little bit surprised there by Edwards, it looked like. Nick Hammer in 4th. Robbie Helms in 5th now because of his error on pit road. Tanner Nowell in 6th. Also a little issue on pit road. Edmonds in 7th. DG Swiss now in 8th position. Was fighting for the lead earlier. Made a major mistake in pit road. Had to back it up 2 or 3 stalls. And that is costing him dearly. Steve Anderson in the 99 is in 9th position. Then it's Kevin MacArthur in 10th, and Nigel Christensen is still in 11th. So let's check in on Sean Retallick here, the number 10 car, leading the race by about 1.8 seconds over Edwards. And it looks like he's going to be catching up with the back markers there. That does look like Nigel Christensen or Ken MacArthur. Actually, everybody is currently on the lead lap, so that must be Christensen. The pit stop has brought them all back on the lead lap. And that is pretty good for all of them. 57 laps into the race, that is pretty nice. That means that everybody is still in it. Caston is about half a second behind Edwards. That currently is the closest duo on the track. Caston started from the pole, then had the lead for a couple laps, dropped back quite oddly, and then kind of struggled to get it back up to speed, and I'm just not sure what happened to him. Behind him, it's Nick Hammer, 2.5 seconds. Robbie Helms, another 3.2 seconds. Tanner Nowell, another 3.5 seconds. And then it's Edmonds. He looks like he's closing in on Tanner Nowell. Fairly close together there. There we see Edwards and Caston for your second position. 0.3 of a second separating these guys. There you have Hank Caston. Picks up that draft here on the backstretch, inches a little bit towards the car in front of him. There he comes. He's going to bring it underneath on the main straight, and it looks like he's going to be picking up second position here. And let's see what Michael Edwards can do. Let's ride along here with Edwards. You can hear those cars scrubbing on that asphalt a little bit. And it looks like Hank Caston has pretty much got him there. Let's go check on Sean Retallick. He's starting to work his way past the back markers. That was Nigel Christensen that got left there. That's the black and yellow car. Nigel in the number 10 car right here. The black and white car with the red number. That is Sean Retallick, your leader. Hank Caston 2.3 seconds behind him, and it looks like Caston is a little bit quicker. So we'll have to keep an eye on Hank. He's walking away from Edwards. Now that he's finally got past him, he's walking away from him. And he is nibbling off that deficit from Sean Retallick by about a tenth or two per lap. Tanner Nowell is about 0.7 of a second behind Swiss, it looks like. That means that Swiss has passed him for 7th position. Hank Caston still nibbling away. Oh no, it's getting big. The distance is getting a little bit bigger now. 2 seconds. Obviously, back markers were playing a part there. Last lap, Caston was a little bit quicker, about 0.2 of a second. But he also still has to deal with Christensen. Christensen staying high, letting him know that he doesn't want to be in the way. Caston gets the draft from him. And then it looks like the 5 will go underneath. The 16 stays high and gives him all the room he needs. Good job. Sean Retallick still leading. And it looks like Caston has gained about 0.3 of a second in the last few laps. Caston is definitely quicker. Let's ride along here with Hank. And their last lap times were pretty much equal, as you can see, 31.8. Hank Gaston is not just walking up there all that easily. And Nick Hammer is still in third. Michael Edwards is in fourth. Robbie Helms fifth. Brian Edmonds has also passed Swiss, it looks like. He is in sixth now. Tanner Nowell in eighth. Anderson in ninth. Ken MacArthur in 10th. And Nigel is being leapt here by the leaders. Hank Gaston looks like he's about a second and a half behind Retallick, and once again their laps are fairly equal, so he's not really making a lot of progress. Now he is. Retallick had a little bit worse lap, a 32.0, and Gaston had a 31.7, so it looks like Sean Retallick is starting to feel those tires get away from him a little bit, maybe. Let's go check on him. There in the distance you see Sean Retallick. We can check inside and see how his hand movements are. It looks like he's still got stuff pretty well under control. But it looks like Gaston is about 0.2 of a second faster per lap. There you have Gaston. He's definitely visually closing in now. And that is always motivating for the driver when you see that car in the distance nearing and coming closer. That is also getting you pumped. Less than a second now. Edwards behind Hammer in third and fourth position. Robbie Helms in fifth. And there we see Edmonds and Swiss. Swiss is coming back at Edmonds there and picks that sixth position up. Gaston now 0.9 behind Retallick. Not much difference between these guys. Edmonds hanging with Swiss there pretty good. He's hanging with him pretty good, but he can't stay right behind him there in that draft. And Robbie Helms in front of these guys. He's behind Edwards. Let's go check back on Gaston. He has nibbled away from that deficit a little bit more once again. It's about 0.6 of a second, going down to half a second now. Lap 73, so we're pretty much getting close to halfway. I guess we are halfway. There we see Gaston closing in on Retallick now. Let's ride along with him. There you see it. And we're going to see a battle for the lead here shortly. Now he's catching that draft really well. There you have him coming towards turn one. Hank Gaston. It's just a couple of car lengths now. And I'm fairly sure Sean knows what's going to happen. He needs to start thinking about how to defend himself. There you see Gaston already coming to look on the inside. He's putting that car underneath there. The higher side works pretty well, so it's not all said and done. The 10 just noses ahead coming off the turn once again. But Gaston is letting him know, I'm here and I'm not going away. Side by side into the tri-oval now. Hank Aston taking the low line. It's still Retallick on the line that has the lead. Still side by side there. Retallick comes off that turn pretty good. The higher side works well. Really works well. You can tell that Caston's just not blowing by there. It takes him a couple of laps to get it done. Now he picks up the lead at the line here. Let's see if Sean can retaliate up top there. But it looks like he's just settling and slots in right behind Caston, hoping to catch that draft, obviously. Maybe that'll help him to slingshot by again, but it looks like Caston has got a car length on him already. Currently, Caston is the quickest car on the track. Let's go check on Swiss here. He is about a half a second behind Robbie Helms. And between most of the drivers, the distances are getting fairly bigger. That car in front of Helms, the 16, that is Christensen. He's a lapped car. I'm sure he'll let the 18 go. There you see it. So up front, it is Hank Aston, and now Caston looks like he's just inching away from Retallick in the same manner that he crawled back up to him. He's about 0.2 of a second faster per lap. They're catching up on, who's that? That is the 97 of MacArthur. Makes way for the leaders, as he should, and I will say the guys are doing a great job here tonight. The back markers are doing a great job letting the leaders have their fight. And all of these guys, to me, look like they're strong runners on these bigger 1.5 mile speedways. It's the shorter tracks that sometimes give them a little trouble, and last week on the road course, that was a little bit of a challenge for some of them. But here on the 1.5 mile oval, they're doing a great job. Caston is slowly but surely pulling away by 0.2 of a second per lap on Retallick. So his pace remains the same. Nick Hammer still hanging on to that third spot here in the 11 car, with Michael Edwards in fourth, Robbie Helms in fifth, Swiss in sixth. He's going by a back marker, and we have MacArthur going into the pits. If I remember correctly, he was the first one into the pits the last time around. Not 100% sure. Robbie Helms, 0.4 of a second in front of DG Swiss. Ken MacArthur in the pits currently. There you have him. Right side's been changed, left side's been worked on. Is being worked on, I should say, and there you have it. He should be ready to go. What's holding him up? Ooh, that is a... Oh, he's trying to get some repairs done, maybe. That's a lengthy pit stop. Caston in front, 1.4 seconds out. Sean Retallick still in second. And Ken MacArthur still in that pit. Swiss and Helms are going at it here for 5th and 6th position. Looks like Swiss is passing Helms.
The yellow flag is out.
Ooh, we have a yellow flag. Let's go and find out if something happened. Yes, the 99. Let's go and bring that back for you. See what it is. He comes into the tri-oval. He gets on that apron. And I've told you this, they get in trouble if they're not paying attention. They get in trouble on that transition, and that's exactly what happens to the 99 car. Luckily, he can get it going. I'm sure he might still have that faster pair left to get her all fixed up again, and doesn't even look like it's all that bad. Ken MacArthur is still in the pits, just now leaving. So that tells me he had some damage repaired. There we have the rest of the fields. Caston behind the pace car. All of them coming into the pits now. There they are. Retallick, Hammer, Edwards, Helms, Swiss, Edmonds, Nowell. Anderson staying out, Christian staying out. They're a lap behind. They have to wait until the next lap before they can take that pit stop. So everybody in. And we have Nowell coming out. No, he's still on his way in. I'm sorry. And Caston's there ready. And the first one out is Caston, it looks like. And Sean Retallick brings it out in second. Nick Hammer third. Edwards fourth. Helms sixth. And Swiss behind him. So the order is really not changing. Albeit that Edmonds has not pitted. Where is Edmonds? Oh, he is out. Can't find Edmonds. Yep, Brian Edmonds is out. Not really sure what happened to him. And Anderson now also in the pit. And he must have used up those faster pairs, or maybe he didn't think about it, but he's not using it. Christensen back, or he's in as well. That means that everybody has done their third pit stop. And Brian Edmonds has done two, and I missed what happened to him that caused him to drop out of the race. And the reason you see him in front there is because he's likely has taken a tow to the pit. And as we're not counting these yellow laps, that kind of throws off scoring. Anderson shown in front. That cannot be right either. He's had the wave around probably. He's catching up to the back end of the field. Once again, scoring gets a little bit confused with these yellows not counting. So in front of the number 5 car, we see Ken MacArthur, and he'll get the wave around. So then we have everything back in the order it should be. Hank Caston, your leader. Retallick in second, Hammer in third, Edwards in fourth, Helms in, and there you see Christensen also getting a wave around. Anderson into the pits now. Let's see what he is going to get done now. No, he's going to get some more tires. There's Edmonds blinking in and out. So he's having a connection issue. He's trying to get back in, and there he goes. Hopefully he'll get that sorted out. Anderson getting some more repairs on that car probably. Brian's got a little bit of a connection issue, it seems like. He's coming in and out. I hope he can get that sorted out. And Anderson should get going. There you have it. He's back out. Otherwise, he'll go a lap down. Robbie Helms going in. Swiss going in. Looks like Swiss also has a bit of a connection issue. That's always unfortunate when you lose your connection because the internet won't cooperate with you. That's always sad. And it looks like the lights are out. We're going to line them back up. Kasten and Retallick there, side by side in the front. Hammer and Nowell right behind him. It's actually Edwards in the 4th spot there on top of Hammer, and Nowell is on the inside in 5th. There you see him. And the left cars are in the back of the field there. There we go. It's Hank Kasten on the gas.
Green.
And he kind of takes Retallick by surprise, and he pulls along Nick Hammer there in 2nd position now. The 10 of Retallick immediately coming under threat of Edwards. Ooh, you got to be on your game when you get these restarts going, because it's easy to lose 3 or 4 spots, as Sean Retallick is showing us right here. Tanner Nowell behind him as well. Edwards picks up 3rd position. Kasten, Hammer, Edwards, Nowell. Nowell is inching by the number 10 car as well, so yeah, you have to be on your game when they do these restarts. You can't sit there and sleep. You gotta be, you gotta see it coming, really. Nick Hammer now picks up that 2nd position. Ooh, Tanner Nowell closing in there. All the leaders close together here, all on fresh tires. 5 cars here close together. Like I said, these guys are doing a good job here on the bigger ovals for sure. Nick Hammer coming underneath Kasten. It looks like Hammer has got that nose in front of Kasten. No, Kasten comes back on the high side. Side by side again. Now it looks like Hammer has picked up that lead, and he slots in front of the 5 car. The 5 car going underneath him on the apron and gets it right underneath him again. By the time they get to turn 1, he's back in the lead. The 14 of Tanner Nowell right on his bumper there on the inside. Ooh, be careful, guys. Side by side racing here, the first 6 cars. Hammer now on the high side, Kasten on the inside. They're all bump drafting here. They're all taking advantage of what's behind them and in front of them. The 14 inching towards the 5 there. Be careful, guys. They're doing an awesome job here. Close racing. Hammer and Kasten. It looks like Kasten drops back a little bit there. Not sure why that happened. The 14 and the 21 right behind him. Retallick now in 5th. And it's Swiss that's hanging on with him as well there in the 26 car. First top 6 drivers. Right here in one shot. Look at that. That is good stuff. Tanner Nowell going low. The 21 stays behind the 5. The 5 still hanging on there, side by side with Nick Hammer. Meanwhile, we see Steve Anderson going back into the pits here, trying to get some more stuff repaired on that car. Let's go back up here to the fight for the lead. It's Hank Caston still out in front. Sean Retallick pushes himself up there on the higher side. Looks like Tanner Nowell has lost contact. And Swiss as well. The first 4 here. Sean Retallick on the high side, right behind Nick Hammer. And then it's Caston into 5 and Edwards into 21. Looks like Tanner Nowell is losing out to DG Swiss right there behind him. Hammer still has it on the high side. The lower side seems to be a little bit slower coming off the turns. Sean Retallick taking advantage of that higher side. And it's stretching out a little bit more now, but they're still all pretty close together. And Caston's not giving up. He's making Sean take the high side and the long way around. And right now he can keep that number 5 car in second position. It looks like Swiss is coming back to this group with Tanner Nowell in the back end there. Swiss coming underneath the 21. Ooh, a little bit of a tap there. They keep it together. Tanner Nowell coming on the bottom there of the 21 as well. Now they're single file, using each other's draft. The 11 going on the apron. And it looks like Steve Anderson is still in the pits, doing some extensive work there on that car. Caston on the high side now, picks up the lead. There we go. Hammer slots in right behind him. Caston was on the bottom, couldn't make that work, tried the higher side, and there you go. Swiss now attacking Retallick here in third position, going underneath, picking up that third spot. There you have him. And at 21 of Edwards and Tanner Nowell staying with these guys. Ooh, there it goes wrong for the 10. Ooh. He saves it. Can you believe it? That is good. Well, let's bring that back for you. What happens? The number 10. Keep an eye out for the number 10 there on the high side. It looks like he tries to keep himself off the wall and touches Tanner's car there, and then he keeps it together. That is pretty good stuff. He does a good job of that. He goes into the pits for new tires. And meanwhile, it's Hank still in the lead with Nick Hammer in second. And behind him, obviously, that incident has taken a little bit of a toll on Tanner Nowell and Edward as well. There's 2 seconds between these guys and DG Swiss. And then there's about a half a second between Hammer and Swiss. Hammer's hanging on there to the back end of Caston. Retallick coming back out. He's been put a lap down now. Hopefully he can pick that back up. Maybe if a yellow happens. Caston in the lead. And right behind Caston, it's Nick Hammer there in the number 11 car. Caston on the higher side makes that work. Into the tri-oval, the 11 going down on the apron. Swiss there right with him in third. There you see the differences between Kasten, Hammer, and Swiss, the top three. The battle for first position. There's not much between them. And it looks like Hank has found out that that higher line just works a little bit better. Lap times between these guys are pretty much equal. 32.04, 32.06, that's like 0.02 of a second difference. Anderson finding his way back out of the pits. And he's coming on the track right in front of the leaders here. And as we looked at Anderson, Swiss picked up second position from Hammer. We can try to find that back for you. Ooh, there it is. Hammer scrapes the wall and the 26 goes underneath him quite easily. Let's find out about Tanner here. He's less than a second behind Hammer. Then Michael Edwards has a little bit more trouble keeping up that pace. He's now about 3.3 seconds behind Tanner Nowell. Nigel Christensen is in 6th. He's gotten his lap back. Helms is in 7th. Retallick is now in 8th. And he's a lap down from the leaders. Kasten still out in front. 0.6 of a second. Then it's Swiss and Hammer. Let's ride along with DG here. There we have Hammer right behind us. And in the background there you see Tanner Nowell. He's closing in a little bit, but he was getting himself in trouble here. Look at that. That transition just, if you're not paying attention, it gets you in trouble. Ken MacArthur into the pits. That means we have another round of pit stop coming maybe. He's a little early. Hank Kasten going into the pits. He's following that example. I'm guessing what they're doing is they're calculating it backwards from the finish. 133 laps in total. And he's thinking if I pit now, I can stay out until the finish. I'm fairly sure that's what he's doing. That means that Swiss picks up the lead on the track with Hammer in second and Tanner Nowell catching up to Hammer. Despite that little hiccup he had last lap, he is closing in on Hammer fairly quickly even. Putting it on the outside already. There you have him. Kasten's coming out of the pits. Tanner Nowell picks up second position. Nick Hammer coming into the pits. And this time he finds his box perfectly. Both sides of tires. And he's back out on his way. Let's go check on your leader here, Swiss. He is coming on to the back end there of Robbie Helms. Is going to put a lap on him. Robbie is going out of the way for him. Tanner Nowell looks like he's closing in on Swiss. There you have him. Also coming underneath the 18 here. Lap 110. Brian Edmonds in the pits. I think Brian is having a tough night with his connection, because he gets in the race every once in a while and then he's back out and he tries to come back in, it looks like, and doesn't seem to last. He's got a connection issue. It's very unfortunate. I guess you can call the connection issue the digital engine failure. There, he's back in again. Tanner Nowell is as fast as DG Swiss there. And it looks like they're feeling that those tires are still good enough. They're running lower 32s, and Hank Caston, to give you an example, on fresh tires, Hank Caston and Nick Hammer are running 31 lap times. So they're a second quicker on fresher tires. So the longer these guys stay out, the tougher it will be for them to stay in the proximity of Caston and Hammer. Because this is where Caston is his choice of coming in early for that last pit stop. This is where that is going to pay off. Running quicker laps without being near those guys. And Sean Retallick is a lap down on these guys now, but he is running 5th. Nowell has passed Swiss for the lead. Retallick is just as fast as these guys. We have Edwards going into pit lane. Trying to feel if everything's okay with that car, it looks like. Maybe he scraped a wall somewhere and bent something. Edmonds is back in business, it looks like. Ooh, there you see Edwards using that fast repair finally. I'm sure he just didn't think of it before, because he's been running that car with damage on the back end for pretty much the entire race. Probably he was not aware of having a second one tonight. Edwards is back out. Nowell still leading. Swiss is in second, and he's finally made his way past Sean. 7/10 of a second between these two. Swiss now closing in again. That's the 26 of... I'm sorry, that was a 16 of Christensen behind them there. 26 is Swiss. Christensen is actually running 3rd at this point. And of course, these are the guys that haven't pitted yet. They last pitted on lap 84, and Christensen on 83. Caston should be good for the race as far as fuel is concerned. There you have Caston getting his lap back from the 26 there, the DG Swiss. That is the difference between newer and older tires. It's better than a second now. So there you'll see Caston. He'll be passing all these guys on fresher rubber. Nick Hammer is close behind him. Same thing, he's already passed Swiss. So this is not for position, folks. He's not picking up the lead. He's a lap back because of that pit stop. Retallick tugging right behind him there, catching the draft and doing good business here, getting his lap back. And this is telling me that once Swiss and Nowell are going into the pits, which are Nowell is doing now, they're going to be behind Kasten and Hammer. They've been out there too long. They lost about a second a lap for the last, 15 laps or so. So that's 15 seconds that they just left on the table. Left side for Tanner. There he comes back out. And as you can see on the left side of your screen, he's behind Kasten, Hammer, Retallick, Helms, and then it's Nowell. Obviously, Swiss is still leading, Christensen is still second, but they still have to come in. So they're going to be losing positions here. Looks like Kasten and actually Hammer is currently quickest on track. So Hammer is going to be looking to start that battle with Kasten. There we have Christensen coming into the pits off of second position. And on track, he's already being passed, so he is going to slot back in somewhere behind Tanner Nowell, probably in 8th position or 9th. Swiss is still staying out there, and I just do believe that was not the best choice. He should have gone in a lot earlier. He's losing about a second to a second. 1 to 1.3 seconds a lap, and that's going to cost him. Once he gets into the pits, he's going to be behind probably Retallick. Maybe Retallick still has to pit. He last pitted on lap 96. 99 of Anderson behind him there. He's running 10th. He's 12 laps behind the leader. Kasten already in second. He's got 27 seconds to make up to get the Swiss, but once DG gets into the pits, he'll get it all for free. Nick Hammer still behind him. And it looks like when you judge it from the lap times, Hammer is a little bit quicker, but he seems to be holding off on trying too hard. We're getting into the closing stages of this race, and that makes you wonder whether Swiss can make it to the end, yes or no. I doubt it, but never say never. Lap 125, so we have 9 laps to go. And he still has it, that's for sure. Kasten and Hammer, second and third currently. And Retallick is, let me see here. Retallick is in front of DG Swiss, but he's almost a lap down. Michael Edwards going by there to get his lap back. Edwards is doing a good lap times there as well. Oh, the 10 loses it almost. Oh my gosh. Let's bring that back real quick. Yeah. Old tires. He gets up way too high, gets into the gray area there coming off the turn, and he can't stay away from the wall and almost loses it and almost takes the 21 with him there. They're doing a good job saving stuff tonight. There we see Swiss going into pits. That was his lead. That means Kasten's going to pick up the lead here. And like I said, if you know you have to pit, why would you not go in a little bit earlier and run faster lap times? Just like you saw it from Caston, you saw it from Hammer. Why not follow the same example? Ooh, did he overshoot? Nope, he's okay. Caston and Hammer going by him on the track. There you have him. Caston picks up the lead. Hammer is second. Lap 128. And you can see Swiss dropping down to order as he comes off the pit lane. He is now in 6th position behind Tanner Nowell. He's probably going to keep Robbie behind him, but he's in 6th position. That's how much he lost. Caston and Hammer now. 1 and 2. Lap 129. 5 more laps to go. I take my hat off to all of them. I think they've done a really good job. Very few yellows, close racing. Everybody was respectful. Everybody gave each other room. What does Nick still have in store for Hank Caston? It looks like offensive has opened. There he goes underneath the 5. Side by side coming off the turn. Hank on the high side. He still has it. And it looks like Hammer's right next to him, but Caston on that higher side can get off the turns better. The 11 trying the lower side, thinking the better of going on the apron. Slots back in behind the 5. We have 3 more laps to go. Mike Edwards is about 5 seconds behind these guys, and the distance to Nowell is 3, so that is pretty much run, I would say. Nick Hammer trying to come to the inside of Caston once again. 2 more laps to go. And it looks like Hammer's got him now, but Caston's not giving up. He's on that higher side. He comes off the turns the best. 3 and 4. They're side by side. Caston is high. Looks like Nick Hammer noses in front of him here on the line. Less than half a car length on the line. Last lap, the white flag is out. What can Hank still do? Ooh, it looks like Robbie was coming off pit road there. Hank Caston has got his nose in front, but it's only just. It's going to be a drag race to the finish line. Hammer now in front. It looks like Nick Hammer is going to win this race, or is he? Yes, but not by much. That is a good finish. Nick Hammer picks up the win here from Hank Caston by 1/100th of a second. Very, very, very well done. Let's bring that back for you there. See if we can stop him. Oop, that's not far enough back. There we go. There we go, coming to the finish line. It's on the bottom. There you have it. That's the finish. It's not even a quarter of a car length. It's not even the length of the hood. That is pretty cool. That's probably the closest finish I've seen in this series so far, if I remember that correctly. It's Michael Edwards that picks up 3rd position, Tanner Nowell 4th. Let's bring those results up for you there. There you have them. We'll check on the donuts here first. Nick Hammer. There you have him. Let's burn some rubber. They like to put that nose against the wall and just eat that rubber up there on the back end. That's pretty cool. All right, there you have your results, folks. Nick Hammer, 13 thousandths of a second in front of Hank Caston, and then it's 4.8 seconds to Michael Edwards in third. Tanner Nowell is 7 seconds behind your leader. Sean Retallick is fifth, 13 seconds behind your leader. DG Swiss brings it home on the lead lap, 14 seconds behind the leader. That is what he lost by staying out there longer. Then it's Nigel Christensen in seventh, 1 lap down from the leader. Robbie Helms in eighth, 2 laps down. Ken MacArthur, 4 laps down. Steve Anderson, 11 laps down after that issue with damage. He had to go back into the pits, turned it around there, had to come back into the pits several times, it looks like. Brian Edmonds in 11th, 49 laps down from the leader with connection issues, been in and out the race here. And Carl Eck didn't start the race. I'm fairly sure he was your admin tonight. And that is 11 cars, folks, here at the finish at the Coast to Coast iRacing League. This race was the final race before we go to the playoffs, and hopefully they can provide me with a little bit more information about how exactly they're going to run the playoffs. Usually it's 1 or 2 rounds consisting of 1 or 2 races that'll lead to a final four in the final race. But I will be able to give you more information on that next time we speak with each other, which will be on the 19th of August, 2 weeks from today, at Chicagoland, Illinois, when we get started with the playoffs in the Coast to Coast iRacing League. Once again, congratulations to Nick Hammer, your winner by just a small margin from Hank Caston. Exciting finish there. Michael Edwards is your third place finisher. That's your podium drivers, Hammer, Caston, and Edwards. We hope to see you again in Chicago next time when we start the playoffs here at the Coast to Coast iRacing League. My name is Mark. This is Short Shift Broadcasting. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope to see you next time.